two teams go from there to Spain. Graham, we've talked about how important this game is. We're seconds away from the opening kickoff.
And the players said it in the pre-game interview, just exactly what should be said. They know what they've got to do. They know they've got to win this game, and I expect them to take the game to the U.S., although the U.S. have a strong wind at their back.
The U.S. are in their red shirts, red shorts, and red stockings with the white trim, and quickly we'll give you the American lineup. Arnie Mauser is in goal. In the back four, it's number 12, Tony Crudo, number 4, Steve Petcher, number 5, Ty Keogh, and number 3, Greg Mikowski. Ringo Cantillo, number 9, number 8 is Angelo DiBernardo, number 20 is Boris Bandoff. The front runners are Ricky Davis, number 7, number 18, Diego Peza, and number 11 is Mark Liverich. The Canadian lineup looks like this. Tino Lettieri, who has started the first two games for Canada, is back in goal this afternoon. Bob Belaitho, Bob Iarusci, and Bob Lenarduzzi are the central defenders. John McGrain is the sweeper. As the Americans come to the attack right off the bat inside the Canadian box, and it's knocked back by number 5, Bob Lenarduzzi, to Tino Lettieri. As you saw in the opening, Tino was nothing short of spectacular against the United States last week in Fort Lauderdale. Canada in the white with the red numeral. That's Wes McLeod, plays for the Tampa Bay Rowdies in the NASL. BC native, playing in front of his home fans this afternoon. Gino Stranicher, number 8 for Canada, knocks it into touch.
The American team has made 2 changes from the team that played in Fort Lauderdale. They brought in Tony Crudo, a big, strong defenseman, and they brought in Diego Peza as a front runner. So they've strengthened the back and the front, and they are obviously coming here to win, too. They don't want to go into the games against Mexico needing the points that a loss here would make them win.
There's the cross well into the 6-yard box. Tino Lettieri coming well out to take it. Lettieri rolls it for the Canadian captain, Robert Iarusci. Iarusci back to Lettieri. This is Bob Belaitho now, number 15. Belaitho did not play in the first game against the United States with a hamstring pull. This is McGrain for Canada. McGrain for Belaitho, overlapping on the right side. That is intercepted there by Boris Bandoff, number 20. He comes up with a bad pass. Iarusci picks it off. Gino Stranicher now. Stranicher for Belaitho. This is young Jerry Gray, member of the Vancouver Whitecaps. He's familiar with this artificial surface here at Empire Stadium. Ball goes into touch, throw into Canada. Dale Mitchell, number 20, gives it to Jerry Gray. Mike Stoyanovich, who has the only goal so far in the series for Canada, that coming against Mexico a couple of weeks ago at Exhibition Stadium in Toronto. Corner kick for the Canadians, the first of the match. Jerry Gray to take it. These corner kicks always dangerous. Let's see whether Gray swings it in or out. Goes for the far post, looking for the head of somebody, but there was nobody there to knock it down. Play is blown down by Mr. Mendez, and a free kick awarded to the Americans. We've got 41 minutes and 31 seconds remaining in the opening half here at Empire Stadium. No score. Canada in white against the United States in red. Iarusci. Jerry Gray. Gray just knocks the ball into space, looking for Stoyanovich, hoping he could run onto it. This is Mark Liverich for the Americans, number 11. Gino Stranicher. Stranicher for Bob Lenarduzzi. Lenarduzzi with space on the left side. In the middle to Wes McLeod. McLeod. Back to Stranicher. Stranicher for Bob Belaitho. Belaitho just flicks it forward, and McLeod perhaps could have run into space there, but didn't. Throw into the Americans.
Well, Wes McLeod made up for a bad mistake there. He started to run, changed his mind. Belaitho gave him a ball, but give Wes credit. He challenged, almost won the ball back. And you can see the Canadian team are starting off with much more aggression in this game.
This is Stoyanovich for McLeod. He's got space in front of him. It's the shot away into the arms of Arnie Mauser. Mauser should be familiar with this artificial turf here at Empire Stadium. He played for the Vancouver Whitecaps for one season.
Canada have made an interesting change, too. They brought in Bruce Miller to add a little bit of strength up front in place of Dale Mitchell, and Bruce Miller and Branko Segota play well together. This could well be to Canada's advantage.
Canada and the U.S. have met a total of 16 times since 1885 internationally. Canada has won 7, they've lost 6, and there have been 3 ties. Incidentally, in 1885, Canada won that first game 1-0. I don't think they had artificial surfaces back in 1885.
No, I don't think so.
There's a look at Steve Hatcher, the American captain, number 4. All of the players on the pitch this afternoon play in the North American Soccer League, so many are familiar with each other's styles. Here's a free kick, and it's cleared by Bob Lenarduzzi to Jerry Gray, back to Bob Polito. Polito, back to Tino Lettieri. This is Iarushi coming forward, Canada, for Bob Lenarduzzi. Lenarduzzi, a little bit of space in front of him for Segota, and Segota is bowled over from behind by the American defender. Free kick awarded to Canada, coming from about the 30-yard line. In case you're wondering about the markings for Canadian football, we have a big Western Junior final here at Empire Stadium tonight between the Vancouver Marilomas and the Regina Rams, so they've been forced to leave the markings on.
Well, there's no doubt that this is a foul against Segota, but I think the wet turf just helped a little bit in it.
Ty Keogh battling and losing the battle against Wes McLeod. McLeod tries to get the cross away, and it goes off the American defender, so we'll have a second corner kick for Canada.
And Canada doing the right thing here. They're putting pressure on the States before they get time to settle, and if they could get an early goal, then it's a big advantage to them.
Jerry Gray to take it. He takes all the corner kicks for the Vancouver Whitecaps, so no problem on this surface. Dangerous ball. Stoyanovich goes up and heads it over the crossbar.
Well, that shows the advantage of the short kick. Mauser's height of no advantage when the ball's played to the near post, as we see here. Mauser cannot get to that ball. It's flicked on, and Stoyanovich he was actually over the crossbar before he headed it, and the challenge made it impossible for him to get the ball down, but a great chance, and it shows the advantage of playing a short corner when there's a goalkeeper with Mauser's ability in the air.
Jerry Gray smoothly back to Polito. Polito looking for Stoyanovich, the target man up front. Jerry Gray can't control, loses it to Mark Liverich. Liverich for the Americans. In the middle for Diego Peza. Oh, nice give and go there by the Americans, but Canada come up with it. Stranicher for Stoyanovich. Stoyanovich turns his man around. He's got control of the ball and loses it to Ty Keogh. And Keogh just knocks it into touch. Polito. Throw into Iarushi. There's Stoyanovich, the big target man for Canada up front. Iarushi. Looking for Stoyanovich again. Headed away by the American defender. Flicked on by DiBernardo. McGrain. Liverich winning that battle in the air. Americans coming forward. There's a good ball. McGrain back covering. The Americans come up with it just outside the Canadian 18-yard box. DiBernardo for Boris Bandov. Bandov. Here comes the cross. Far post. Looking for a head. Nobody there. And it'll go into touch. No, it doesn't. Wes McLeod gets to it. Plays it forward for Gino Stranicher. Stranicher in the middle to Iarushi. Iarushi. Long ball, intending that for Polito. Americans coming forward inside the Canadian zone now. This is Makowski. Oh, a good tackle there by Iarushi. Iarushi for Wes McLeod. McLeod back in the middle. Iarushi. Beats one man. For McLeod on the left side. There's the cross off the leg of DiBernardo.
Good play by Bob Iarushi there. He came from his deep defensive role and took advantage of the space and moved forward and put pressure on the American defense.
Play blown down there by referee Mendez. And a free kick awarded to Canada coming from the 25-yard line. One of the advantages of having the pitch line for football. There's a good ball onto the head of Bruce Miller. Babalito for Jerry Gray. Gray can't get to it. And again, knocked into touch by the Americans. Graham, this is reminiscent of what happened in the first game where the U.S. dominated. Now it's Canada dominating in the first half. There's the cross into the middle and cleared by the Americans.
Well, the home team has to take the initiative, and Canada's doing the right thing in putting pressure on. In Florida, we saw the States put pressure as they were the home team, and we can expect this sort of thing for quite a while till the game settles down a little bit and gets into a pattern.
In case you just joined us, I'm Steve Armitage along with Graham Leggett. We're live from Empire Stadium. This is World Cup qualifying action. There's a shot from Stojanovic, and it goes over the bar and well onto the track here at Empire Stadium. There's Gino Strenicher, who is a workhorse in midfield for Canada. Very talented young soccer player. One of the older members of the Canadian team at 34. Plays for the Rochester Lancers in the North American Soccer League. Arnie Mauser. We've got 33 minutes and 45 seconds remaining to play in the opening half here at Empire Stadium. Still no score. Good flick on there by DiBernardo, looking for Ricky Davis, number 7. Davis going into the corner with Babalito, and the linesman awarding a goal kick to Canada.
There we saw the effect of that strong wind that's at the back of the United States team. That ball just kept running away from Ricky Davis, but good challenge, and he almost got it back from Bobby Lanaduzzi.
In the last qualifying round a couple of years ago, here at Empire Stadium, Canada and the United States battled to a 1-1 tie, and then down in Seattle, the U.S. beat Canada 2-0. So the U.S. took 3 of a possible 4 points from Canada in qualifying. Of course, Canada would like to reverse that this time around and hand the U.S. a defeat and pick up the all-important 2 points. Canada already has 2 points from 2 ties, which would give them a total of 4, of course, which would put them in the driver's seat in terms of going through the second round. McGrain for Jerry Gray. Gray can't get through it. Liverich was there. Back to Iarusci. Gino Strenicher. Strenicher, good ball into Wes McLeod on the left side. And a good defensive effort there by DiBernardo. So with 32 minutes remaining to play in the first half here at Empire Stadium, we're still looking for our first goal. We're back live at Empire Stadium in Vancouver. World Cup soccer action. The United States in red against Canada in white. No score, and we've got about 31 minutes to play in the opening half.
And another free kick call by referee Molina Mendez from Guatemala. As soon as the studs comes up, he gets the whistle in his mouth, and you can hear him blowing it now. These South American referees don't like to see the studs come up at goal.
Knocked into the top of the box. Drain was there. Bob Lenarduzzi covering up for Tino Lettieri.
I think it's interesting to see that the United States team are crossing high balls or attempting to cross high balls in. They obviously feel that they can take advantage of Lettieri.
Good pass there from Wes McLeod to Bob Lenarduzzi, working on the far side. Now back to Wes McLeod. Into the middle for Branko Segota. Back to Jerry Gray. Canada doing a lot of one-touches here. Very effective. There's the cross from Lenarduzzi. It's low, but Lenarduzzi gets it back. Tries to put the cross through again. Segota with it. Segota back to Gino Strenicher, and Jerry Gray missed it. The Americans come up with it. Boris Bandoff, number 20. Iarusci takes it off of him, brings it forward once again for Canada. Iarusci. Iarusci turns. Babalito is there, and the linesman's flag goes up, indicating offside, but play goes on.
I got to give full credit to referee Molina Mendez there. He played on because he knew that the linesman had made a mistake, and he's the sole decision maker.
Babalito. Good cross, far post, looking for the head of Bruce Miller. Miller flicks it back into the middle, but there were no white shirts there to do anything with it. Wes McLeod. In the middle for Stojanovic. Segota. Stranicher loses it there. Americans come away with a good ball down the side there for Ricky Davis. Davis has help in the middle. Oh, a fine play there by Bob Lenarduzzi. Mark Liverich for Boris Bandoff. Bandoff being watched by Bob Bolitho. And a fine play there by Jerry Gray. Back to Tino Lettieri.
Well, we saw something there that the Canadian team has to be very aware of, that if they keep pressing forward and bringing men forward, they do tend to leave themselves open at the back, and had Davis got past Lenarduzzi there, they could have been in trouble. So they got to attack by all means, but they got to make sure they get men back quickly to cover.
Jerry Gray for Bruce Miller. Miller can't control it, but Canada gets the throw in deep inside the American zone. Now the referee overrules that and awards a free kick. Ty Keel back to Arnie Mauser. There are 3 games left in this home-and-home series. U.S. versus Mexico. That's November the 9th at Azteca Stadium. And then, of course, Canada plays Mexico in Mexico City on the 16th of November.
Well, you know, this is a case of who gets whose legs mixed up with whom, because both players were going for the ball, obviously looking at the ball, didn't see each other, but the referee gave a free kick to Canada.
And to complete that schedule, November 23rd, the U.S. is in Mexico City to play the Mexicans at Azteca Stadium. So 3 games remaining. Canada, of course, this is their 3rd game. Wes McLeod.
Speaking about the tightness of these games, Steve, we could have the very unusual situation of every game being tied. Then we start all over again.
Big Mike Stojanovic for Jerry Gray. Gray plays it outside for Bob Lenarduzzi. Back into Gray on the give and go now. Lenarduzzi. Here's the cross. It's low off the leg of DiBernardo. Americans come up with it. Ricky Davis. DiBernardo. Back to Davis. Davis, who plays for the New York Cosmos, chips it in through the middle. And Wes McLeod comes up with it for Canada. He's got a ton of space in front of him. If he can make some use of it. Gino Stranicher in behind him. This is Stojanovic. Back to McLeod. Franco Segota running onto it. And it's headed back by Greg Mikowski all the way back to Arnie Mauser. A bit of a dangerous move there. Stojanovic was looking closely by.
Well, there were oohs and ahs from the crowd, but it was a good ball back to the goalkeeper. Under pressure, it's best to play the safe ball.
26 minutes remaining in the opening half. Still no score. Canada in white against the United States in red. Wes McLeod losing it. Jerry Gray for Bruce Miller. And a good sliding tackle there by Greg Mikowski. You can do that on the artificial turf here at Empire Stadium. When it's wet, when it's dry, you get a very bad burn.
Well, you don't care if it's wet or dry. It takes a lot of courage to slide on this stuff.
As we mentioned, it rained heavily overnight here, but they had their giant vacuum cleaner out here sucking up the water and blowing it away. So the field is fairly dry as you can get at this time of year in beautiful British Columbia. There's a cross into the box. Gino Stranicher for Canada maintains control. Bolitho making a run on the side, and it's intercepted there. Now McGrain comes over. Oh, a bad move there. It goes off of Steve Petcher. Petcher looking for support in the middle. Iarushi comes out to watch Petcher. Petcher tries to get around Iarushi. There's the cross. Oh, a dangerous move, and it's just wide. Very close call for Canada.
I think that Ricky Davis has to be offside there. He was definitely in an offside position. A good run, and Petcher goes past Iarushi and tries the shot, and it goes straight to Davis, but Davis had run in for the original shot and was definitely offside, but this shows how dangerous the United States can be on breakaways.
There's Bob Bolitho, number 15, and Robert Iarushi, who was beaten on that last play by Petcher. Mark Liverich trying to turn Lico around, gets a good ball through to Ringo Cantillo, number 9 for the Americans, and Strenicher with a fine tackle. And then they get their legs tied up. Strenicher indicating that perhaps he took a knee in the chest intentionally there from Cantillo.
I think definitely that...
We'll be back with more World Cup soccer action. Well, this could be a very crucial blow for the Canadian effort. Gino Strenicher is down on the artificial turf here at Empire Stadium, obviously in a great deal of pain. Graham can only speculate at this point. It looks like a shoulder injury. Just how serious it is, we don't know.
Well, there's no doubt about it that Gino Strenicher went down very heavily on the artificial turf in a tackle with Cantillo, and I have a feeling that Cantillo may have stood on him on the way back across. They were both going for the ball, and Strenicher went in very strongly. You can see that Cantillo fell on his shoulder and could well have popped his collarbone. I hope for Canada's sake that it's not broken, because Gino's been by far the strongest player, but the ambulance is on the field now, and things don't look good at all.
Well, as you mentioned, he went down very, very heavily, and that's one of the problems, of course, of playing on the artificial surface anywhere in the world, and that is there is so very little give to the surface. And, of course, when you go down as hard as you do, as opposed to natural surf, where there's just a slight bit of give, none here.
No, this is a disadvantage, or one of the disadvantages, and the fact that Cantillo fell on top of him obviously added to the impact. If we look at it from a different angle, you got to give credit to Strenicher. He went in hard for the ball, slid tackle Cantillo, and just look now, you'll see that Cantillo, there it goes. Now watch him fall on top of him, and that's obviously where the shoulder went. But you got to give a great deal of credit to the courage of Strenicher. He went sliding in there, took the ball out of play, and it was a saving tackle.
Well, it looks as if Carmen Marcantonio will replace Gino Strenicher, and we can't overemphasize the job that Strenicher has done for the Canadian team in the 2 games thus far, because he is really the quarterback at midfield.
He certainly is. Canada has lacked a little bit of creative genius in midfield, but whatever creative activity they've had in midfield has come from Gino Strenicher.
Carmen Marcantonio, 25 years of age, 5'9", 150 pounds, plays for the Washington Diplomats in the North American Soccer League.
Well, Carmen Marcantonio is a very intelligent midfield player. He's not as strong, not as hard worker as Gino Strenicher, but he's very clever on the ball. And whereas they'll miss Strenicher, I think that in a game at home, the skill of Marcantonio may well work out to their advantage.
In case you've just joined us, I'm Steve Armitage, along with Graham Leggett, and we're live from Empire Stadium on an overcast afternoon.
Could have got a call of obstruction there, but referee right on the spot, and ruled that the ball's gone out of play before the infringement took place.
Ty Keogh will band off. Naduzzi intended that for Bruce Miller. This is Marcantonio. Marcantonio tried to beat a second man. Ball goes into touch. It'll be throw-in. Marcantonio to take it. For Bruce Miller. Miller trying to turn Petcher around so he can get the cross, gets it through his legs.
Well, Steve felt it's a big, rough, tough customer. He was determined that Miller wasn't going to get past him there by hook or by crook, but this is a dangerous situation. Big Stojanovic at the far post. The Arushi's come up to the far post.
Free kick for Canada. Just outside the 18-yard box. There's the cross into the middle.
Decided he couldn't get it, tried to get back in, and Iarussi just leapt above everybody and stuck it right in the back of the net. Just watch for Iarussi at the far post. A good dummy run, good cross. Mauser starts to come, decides to go back. Caught in no man's land, and Iarussi dodge it into the open net. That's a great incentive now for Canada to keep going. Just a great goal. We said watch for Iarussi at the far post. He came up, used his height well, timed his jump perfectly. A great cross, but I have to wonder where Mauser was. If he's 6'2", why didn't he come all the way?
Well, Canada has done something they could not do in Fort Lauderdale against the United States. They have scored a goal. Remember, these two teams played to a scoreless tie just a week ago, Saturday night in Fort Lauderdale. But right now, Canada's leading 1-0 with 20 minutes and 22 seconds remaining to play in the opening half. Jerry Gray with a ball for Franco Segota. Segota almost getting by Ty Keogh. And had he been able to do that, there was a lot of space there. But Keogh, I believe, is being called on the foul. Another free kick for Canada. Jerry Gray and Carmen Marcantonio there. As we saw the last time, perhaps a dummy run off the ball, which simply means that one player will run away off the ball without kicking it, of course. Here's Gray, the dummy. Carmen Marcantonio putting it into the box. This time, Mauser makes no mistake, coming well off the line and pulling the ball down.
And really, there's no way that anybody should get that ball in the penalty box. When a goalkeeper's 6'2" and has got hands like Mauser, that property is his. Nobody should get the ball at all.
Marcantonio for Bruce Miller. Miller with the cross, looking for Stojanovic. And had that ball been just perhaps a little higher, Stojanovic might have been able to get to it. I was wondering about a psychological letdown for Canada when they lost Gino Trenicher, but it doesn't seem to be any at all. Bandoff coming forward for the United States, and it goes off the leg of Iarussi. Referee Molina Mendez indicating a goal kick for Canada.
Indicating also that the ball has to be dead before Lettieri can kick it.
Iarussi takes the goal kick. Ricky Davis. Davis off the leg of Lenarduzzi. Wes McLeod over there. Segota back to McLeod. McLeod back in the middle for Marcantonio. Marcantonio for Jerry Gray. Gray can't get to it. The Americans come away with it. This is Ringo Cantillo. Good ball through to Boris Bandoff. Bandoff running out of space on the left side. That'll be a throw into Canada.
Well, I tell you that the United States seems their heads down a little bit at the moment. If Canada just keep up this pressure and get another goal, I think they've got the game on the back. You can see the confidence ooze from the United States team when they lost that goal, because you don't expect to give up a header against Mauser. That was a bad goal to lose.
He's so big and so strong in the air, and that's the reason why. Made a bad mistake, and it was a costly one. Ty Keogh back to Mauser. Mauser for U.S. captain Steve Petcher. Petcher, long ball and blown down on the offside.
So far, the gentleman in your picture has had an excellent game. The thing you got to give him credit for, this game's been played at a fast pace, but he's right up with the play every minute.
We were just a little bit disappointed with the officiating last week in Fort Lauderdale. We had a crew from Costa Rica. This crew is from Guatemala. The week before in Toronto, we had an El Salvadorian crew, and they did an excellent job. Segota for Wes McLeod. Segota couldn't come away with it. Makowski does. Makowski for Ringo Cantillo. Cantillo for Liverich. But Iarussi is there. Oh, and a deliberate foul appeared to me, but it wasn't blown down if Danny's rule played on. Cantillo for Liverich. Iarussi is there. Gray is there. Gray gets the shot off the shoulder of the American forward.
Didn't like this call, but Belida was obviously obstructing Cantillo, and Cantillo went right through him and got the ball. Referee right on the spot said, that's legal. If you're obstructing him, he can go through you and get it. Although the crowd certainly didn't like it, especially when Bob Belida had played in Vancouver for so long.
Tino Lettieri, native of Montreal. The only Quebec player on this Canadian national team. Most of the players coming from Ontario and British Columbia. Jerry Gray with the throw-in for Branko Segota. This is Mark Liveridge losing it to Gray. And Cantillo goes down heavily, and referee not hesitating, calling the foul. Free kick to the Americans. Keogh to take it. Ooh, dangerous ball there. Bruce Miller safely back to Tino Lettieri. 15 minutes now remaining to play in the opening half. Canada leading 1-0. A goal by Robert Iarruchi. Oh, John McGrain with a safety first move. No time to fool around with it. And Tino Lettieri indicating to his captain, Robert Iarruchi, that he doesn't like that sloppy play in that area.
Well, it really wasn't a very good ball from Robert Iarruchi to McGrain. He gave the ball to McGrain with his back to the play, and McGrain tried to turn and lost the ball. In your own box, or just outside the box, you can't afford that luxury.
Now Belito going way back to Lettieri. The throw out to Bob Lenarduzzi for Bruce Miller, too far. Ringo Cantillo for the United States. DiBernardo. DiBernardo on the give and go, too far. Bruce Miller. Canada perhaps now going into a bit of a defensive shell, which could be a bad move. They were doing so well coming forward. DiBernardo. Ricky Davis by Bob Lenarduzzi. Back to Iarruchi. Marcantonio switching the attack, looking for Branko Segota. Branko Segota showing few effects of that laryngitis, which kept him out of the Canadian lineup a week ago.
Ooh, that was a bit of luck for the United States team. United States claimed they'd kept it in, and Canada hoped they had, because Segota was clean through.
Jerry Gray throwing into Segota. Segota trying to find Marcantonio. The Americans come up with it. Ringo Cantillo for Mark Liveridge. Cantillo back to Liveridge. Attempted the pass back, but it didn't work. Lettieri. Not very big is Lettieri, but very, very quick. Wes McLeod at midfield. Stojanovic. Good ball for Bruce Miller on the right side. Miller can't control it against Mikowski. He loses it. High Keogh now for Steve Petcher. Trying to find Davis on the right side. We've got 12 minutes remaining to play in the opening half here at Empire Stadium. Canada leading the United States 1-0. 11 minutes and 38 seconds unofficially remaining to play in the first half here at Empire Stadium. Canada leading the United States 1-0. And a goal by Robert Iarruchi. John McGrain picking off that pass. Plays it open for Bob Belito on the right side. Belito tries to get by Mark Liveridge, and Liveridge just plain obstructed Belito. Just threw his body in the way. He couldn't get around it.
Well, Liveridge isn't the bravest of players. He went over the top of the ball a couple of times for Lauderdale. And here we see chickens out again, takes the easy way out and just throws himself in front of Belito.
Back to the live action. Quick goal kick taken by the Americans. Bandon in the middle for Diego Peza. Peza plays it for DiBernardo, but Wes McLeod was there. Stojanovic tries to get to that ball. Americans coming forward now. This is Mikowski, the fullback, overlapping through the middle. Ooh. Ricky Davis going down heavily against Wes McLeod. with it. Plays it forward for Bruce Miller. Lenarduzzi making a run on the left side of Miller. He doesn't see him or doesn't elect to pass to him. Miller tries the shot off the American defenders, and then it's played back to Artie Mauser. Cantillo. The bend off, intercepted by Marcantonio. Stojanovic has it, plays it to the left side for Miller. Here's the shot. Oh, right through the box. There wasn't a white shirt there to knock it home.
And the three Canadian strikers standing back in the penalty spot for the arm in the air, but why were they standing back there instead of following in towards the goal? They should have read it a little better and followed into the danger area instead of standing back and watching. But a great chance for Canada, and it's gone.
Mikowski plays it on the right side for Ricky Davis. Ever dangerous Davis. Good speed, good moves, working against Lenarduzzi. And the ball goes off the end line. Goal kick for Canada. 9 minutes and 21 seconds remaining to play in the opening half. Canada leading the United States 1-0. This is Canada's third game in the opening round of World Cup qualifying. They'll play their final game 2 weeks Sunday in Azteca Stadium in Mexico City against the Mexicans. Canada played to a 1-1 tie Mexico in Toronto's exhibition stadium 2 weeks ago. Jerry Gray flicks it on, looking for Segota. Bandoff comes up with it for the United States. Flicks it forward for Davis. Davis shoved ahead there by Lenarduzzi. Quite a battle going on between those two. DiBernardo. Little sloppy, little careless. Lenarduzzi there. Keeps it in play. Wes McLeod. Back in the middle for Jerry McGray. Jerry Gray for Stojanovic. Back to Gray. Stojanovic still going forward. Petcher's there, and Petcher gets it back to Artie Mauser. Dangerous moments there for the Americans.
Well, good aggression by both players there. Petcher and Stojanovic were determined to win the ball. It went one way, went the other way. And this game's exciting. Everybody wants to win the ball. The pace of it is tremendous, and that characterized the whole game. Neither player would give up on that ball, although it kept going from one to the other, and eventually Petcher was able to put it back to Mauser.
Throw in for Canada deep inside the American zone. Jerry Gray with Bob Palaipo. Palaipo for Stojanovic. Stojanovic watches it go into touch. Another throw in for Canada. They're getting deeper and deeper inside the American zone. And this is where if you had somebody who could really come up with that long throw in, you could almost reach the far post. But Canada doesn't have anybody of that caliber, so Gray for Stojanovic. Stojanovic tried a shot over his shoulder. Didn't work. Americans clear into touch.
These kind of diagonal balls from defense to a striker running wide are pretty useless on this turf with the wind behind them. Second half, maybe with the wind against them, it might hold up a bit, but right now, as you can see, that ball's just gone, and for a front runner to try and catch it is virtually impossible.
Stojanovic missing that ball. McGrain just watches it go into touch. 6 minutes and 37 seconds now remaining in the opening half. Canada continues to lead 1-0 as McGrain throws back to Lettieri. Lettieri off the head of Segota. Gray forward for Stojanovic. Good ball. Stojanovic tries to get by Cantillo in the middle for Bruce Miller. Miller leads it for Gray.
That's a goal.
They haven't given it. They haven't given it. It hit the bar twice, but it did not, I do not think, cross the line. What a wicked shot by Jerry Gray. The crowd do not like that one.
Well, I tell you what, this is heads-up play by Gray right from the start. Stojanovic gets the ball across, and another heads-up play as the ball's allowed to run to Gray. He hits it. Now, just look at it. Hits the inside of the post. Does it go across? The reason I shouted goal was that the linesman immediately went to the center of the field. He did not put his flag up, but he did run to the center of the field, and I assumed he'd given a goal. But the referee, once again, right on the spot, and that's about as as near as you can come to scoring without actually getting a goal. Just a tremendous shot.
Reminiscent, I think, of 1966, Wembley, England, in the World Cup final when they had a shot like that go off the crossbar. Close call for the Americans. A little bit of disappointment there for Canada, but they continue to lead 1-0. 5 minutes and 3 seconds remaining to play in the opening half. Polito. DiBernardo for the Americans now. Bandoff. Bandoff working against Gray. Bandoff still coming forward. Yarushi. And it goes off the leg of Bandoff.
Well, we followed again, and you try and be the judge. We see the ball being allowed to run to Gray. Here it comes. Now you be the judge. We follow the flight of the ball. Hits the inside of the post. Bounces on the line. Hey, I don't know. It's getting pretty dark out there, as you can see.
Well, it's all academic now because the referee did not allow the goal. He's not about to change his mind. Bob Polito coming forward for Canada. Polito looking for Segota. Carmen Marcantonio leaves it for Wes McLeod. Wes McLeod loses it. This is Rookie Davis coming forward for the Americans. Davis, nice move to get by Yarushi. He's got 3 red shirts with him. Marcantonio there to intercept. Lenarduzzi now just knocks it over into touch.
Well, once again, we see how dangerous the Americans can be, but give credit to the Canadian defense. We got 5 white shirts back there in a hurry to cover.
Loses it. McGrain just knocks it high into the air. Stoyanovich running onto it. Stoyanovich, a little bit of space. Oh, he's going to get by his man. No, he doesn't. He's a penalty kick. He's a penalty kick. The referee has given a penalty kick. He maybe thought he made a mistake on the goal because, they're both fighting for the ball, and down goes Stoyanovich. Whether that was a penalty or not, it's up to the referee, and he's given it, but I think that maybe he thinks he should have given a goal earlier, because for me that was a 50-50 ball. They're both fighting, and Branko Segota is over the ball. He's got a terrific shot. One of the most exciting moments in soccer. This is one-on-one, and it will be Branko Segota against Arnie Mauser. Mauser taking his time, trying to strike himself up for a hat. He should be used to this, Graham, because he's been involved in many, many shootouts in the North American Soccer League. A chance for Canada to go up by 2 goals should Branko Segota score on this penalty kick. There's the goal! Branko Segota giving Canada a 2-0 lead.
Well, that's the goal they wanted. They'll take it any way they can. Mauser did the only thing a goalkeeper can do. He guessed. Just watch it. It's 1-1. Mauser guesses. Segota blasted past him, and 2-0. That's the one that Canada wanted now. Now they can play. Whether it was a penalty or not, as Steve said earlier, it's all academic because Segota has put Canada 2-0 up. Arnie Mauser, the goalkeeper, looking a little bit disappointed. All he could do was try and guess. He guessed wrong, and 2-0 for Canada.
1 minute and 36 seconds remaining to play in the first half. Canada now lead 2-0. Bandoff with the ball on the left side, working against Bob Polito. Bandoff trying to turn Polito around. Jerry Gray intercepts. Bandoff losing to Polito, and Polito just knocks it into touch. The lights have gone on here at Empire Stadium. That wasn't the sunshine coming through. It is getting darker. Heavy clouds rolling in. Perhaps we're in for some more rain, which is not unusual at this time of the year. Beautiful BC. Throw into the box. There's McGrain off his head. Tino Lettieri, dangerous, and he keeps it out.
Well, once again, we saw John McGrain being a little too clever, trying to control the ball in his box, and he give it straight back to the American striker. In that area, you can't afford to be pretty. You can't afford to be nice. Just get it out of there and settle down. Just a little too casual, I feel.
That's the one area where Tino Lettieri could be weakest, and that is going after high balls, because he isn't that tall. He doesn't have the advantage that Mauser does. Throw into the Americans inside the Canadian zone. Taikio Keogh into the middle. Yarushi is there. Stojanovic tries to beat Petcher to the ball. Jerry Gray, what a strong game he's played for Canada. Gray for Bruce Miller. Myrna has people in front. Segota! Oh, a beautiful opportunity there, and Segota just couldn't get enough foot on the ball.
Canada's certainly taken the game to the United States. Just a terrific breakaway. Great play here by Gray. Pushes it forward. And if Branko Segota had got a call from Stojanovic, Stojanovic has just got to side-foot it in. But over-enthusiasm maybe on the part of young Branko Segota. He saw an open goal, dived for it, whereas Mike Stojanovic was running on with a perfect opportunity.
And there goes the whistle from the referee, Molina Mendez, to end the first half of play here at Empire Stadium. And the fans loving every minute of it simply because Canada will have a 2-0 lead going into the dressing room. And there you see Branko Segota, who has one of the Canadian goals. That's coming on a penalty kick.
Well, we said that Canada has to take the game to the United States. They certainly did. They showed more aggression, more creativity in midfield, and there's certainly good value for the 2-0 lead.
It'll be interesting to see if the Americans make any substitutions and lineup changes for the second half, because their backs are certainly to the wall right now. So the score at halftime here at Empire Stadium, Canada leading the United States 2-0 on goals by Iarushi and Branko Segota. Last Sunday, Ernie, a lot of people are involved in putting together a World Cup soccer team, and this year for Canada is certainly no exception. Canadian Soccer Association, the North American Soccer League, and of course Labatt. Jay Paul is down at field level, but the man has been around soccer for a long, long time.
2-0 Canada at halftime here at Empire Stadium in Vancouver. John McMahon, a halftime result like that, you don't even mind the rage.
You know, I can stand here all day.
Tell us your thoughts about the first half.
Well, the first half was entirely different from the Fort Lauderdale. We had decided we're definitely going to go at them, and you can see we're doing just that. We slightly changed the plan. And we're looking, if you watch closely, you'll see that most of the time we are one-touching it as much as we can. By doing this, you've got the Americans running, chasing the ball. And, of course, the more they run and chase the ball, the tighter they're going to get. And at the present time, you can see that they're dying right now. Now, that doesn't mean they won't come back strong in the second half, because they are a strong team.
What about your second half strategy?
Second half strategy, well, I was just speaking to Barry as he left to go to the dressing room, and I would think we'll continue to go the way we go, and the reason for that is simply this. The more goals we score, the better it is later on. Should we win today, and it looks like we are going to win, we will have 4 points. Now, worst it could happen to us would be a tie with the other two teams. So the more goals we get, we could go in on a goal difference, like Mexico squeezed in the last time, and now we could be in the driver's seat, and this is what we're looking for.
Okay, John, we wish you the best of luck in the second half.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Let's go back up to Steve.
Well, Graham Leggett, it's nice to see John McMahon smiling for once. He hasn't done a lot of smiling. He certainly wasn't smiling after Canada played to a 1-1 tie with Mexico and then a scoreless tie with the United States last week.
No, he wasn't, and I think he may be a little premature saying that they're going to win this game. There's still 45 minutes to go, and anything can happen in soccer, but he's smiling, and he deserves to be. The Canadian team's done very well.
The first goal for Canada came in the 23rd minute, and I thought it was a combination of two things. Heads-up play by Iarushi and a mistake by Arnie Mauser.
And it was an excellent cross by Gray. He gets it right to the far post, and Iarushi had come up especially for this. Mauser starts to come, then he changes his mind, goes down, and Iarushi just nods it into the corner. But you can see Mauser starting to come up, and he must be saying, why on earth did I go and then stop? If you go, you've got to go all the way. You don't stop.
Well, that gave Canada a 1-0 lead, and there was a near miss, a goal that perhaps will be argued about for some time to come.
Well, you be the judge. I mean, we've seen it 2-3 times, and I think it went in. The referee thought it didn't. It was good play by Gray, who gets it forward to Stojanovic, and then good shouting by the Canadian team. One player started to take it. He let it run to Gray. Gray runs on and hits it. It curls viciously, hits the inside of the far post, bounces on the line, hits the other post, and goes out. But obviously, the ball had not crossed over the line, and it has to go totally over the line before it counts. But you know, they've been given before, and it would have been an excellent 2-goal lead for Canada. But they came back later on, got one on a penalty kick, and they're smiling right now.
I was just going to say that. A few minutes later, it looked to us as if perhaps the referee decided that maybe that was a goal, so he awarded a penalty kick. Although I think the violation was indeed a violation inside the box.
Well, it was a violation inside the box, but Segota didn't argue about it. He just picked the spot, blasted it. Mauser gets the wrong thing, and that's what you got to do in a penalty spot. Give credit to Segura. He's a young kid. He didn't wilt under the pressure. Picked his spot, blasted it home. 2-0 for Canada. Things look pretty good.
Well, that's the situation right now here at Empire Stadium. Canada is indeed leading the United States 2-0. We'll be back with the second half in just a moment. In Canada, leading the United States 2-0. A pair of goals in the first half, one from Robert Iarusci and the other from Branko Segura on a penalty shot. Canada has made one substitution. Graham, perhaps you can tell us about it.
Well, Mike Sweeney's been brought on for Bob Lytle, and Bob looked as if he was struggling with his hamstring in the latter stages of the first half, and obviously he couldn't continue, so Bobby Lenarduzzi's moved to right back, and young Mike Sweeney's come in as left fullback.
In case you've joined us late, Gino Strenicher, who has been a standout for Canada in the series so far at midfield, was taken off the field on a stretcher in the first half, and first reports indicate a broken right arm. But Carmen Marcantonio came on to replace Strenicher and has done an outstanding job for Canada so far. Canada leads 2-0. We've got 43 minutes and 14 seconds remaining to play in the game. The Americans coming forward now. Ricky Davis for Steve Petcher, the overlapping fullback. Here's the cross about to come, but Stojanovic got back and made the defensive play, and the linesman awarding a goal kick.
And Steve Petcher not at all pleased with that decision. He was convinced he had a corner kick there, and I think I have to agree with him, but the linesman being a little bit kind to Canada on that decision.
Tino Lettieri has been the starting goalkeeper for Canada in the 3 games to date. High punt. And it goes off the head of Petcher. He couldn't control it at all in the touch. So Canada will wind up with a throw-in deep inside the American zone. That's Wes McLeod coming over to take it. Wes, who plays his professional soccer with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, BC native. Ringo Cantillo for DiBernardo. Mike Sweeney intercepting for Canada. Iarusci. Long ball looking for the head of Stojanovic, the target man. Petcher comes up with it for the United States. Rolls it back to Mauser. Mauser throws it out to the left side. Greg Mikowski for Bandoff. Bandoff runs onto it well, but Jerry Gray was there to knock it across the end line. That'll be a corner kick for the United States.
An enthusiastic crowd. They're making lots of noise, and obviously they're delighted with the 2-0 lead that Canada enjoys at the moment.
And Barry Clark said it was so important to get that vocal support from the Canadian fans here at Empire Stadium. He was hoping for a large crowd. I think he'll be rather pleased with the crowd and the Canadian performance to date. Corner kick going to the far post. Lettieri coming well off the line. Missed the punch. Bit lucky, an American forward wasn't there to drive that in. As we said, that's the one weakness that Lettieri might have, and that's his lack of height when he comes off the line to punch balls away. Bruce Miller challenging in the air. Ball goes into touch. Throw into Canada just inside the American zone. We've got 40 minutes and 56 seconds remaining to play in the game. Canada leads 2-0. Should Canada win this game this afternoon, they'll have 4 points in the standings. The Americans won, the Mexicans won, but the U.S. have 2 games to play, and the Mexicans 2. John McGrain tried to play it forward. Wes McLeod comes up with it for Mike Sweeney, number 16 for Canada, for Stojanovic. Stojanovic tries to give and go back to Sweeney, but it fails. Ricky Davis for the Americans, off the head of Carmen Marcantonio. Sweeney flips it forward, looking for Bruce Miller, but Ty Keogh comes up with it, allows it to roll to Arnie Mauser. Bandoff. Keogh. Keogh. Long ball for DiBernardo. Wes McLeod wins the battle in the air. McLeod. Segura. Segura tried to get turned around, couldn't. McLeod again. Liberich. DiBernardo. DiBernardo, watched by McLeod, flips it forward for Ricky Davis. Iarusci there. Bruce Miller. DiBernardo. Americans in control. Petcher. Long ball. Jerry Gray, safety first, knocking it into touch. It'll be a throw-in for the Americans.
Well, the United States teams obviously have read the scouting reports on Tino Lettieri because they persist in hitting this high ball into the middle, but Lettieri came off the line there, decided not to go, and that could have been dangerous.
Lenarduzzi with a bad header there. Instead of heading it downfield or back into touch, he headed it across the line, and that'll be a corner kick for the Americans. Mark Liverich, number 11, going over to take it. They've got Diego Pesa by the near post. With Terry coming well out to punch it off the line. Bend off. Back out on the left side. Segoda's there. The clock in the middle. Flick forward, and it's wide. Diego Pesa getting ahead on it, but couldn't control it. Barry Clark with his ever-present tape recorder. He's not talking to himself, but really making a few notes on a tape recorder that he'll play back for himself after the game is all over. He's having a secretary sit on the bench.
Well, Barry's looking a little concerned, and maybe he should be, because the impetus is certainly swung in the United States' favor right now.
Stoyanovich coming forward, tackled there by Petcher. No free kick given. Cantillo gets it again. Iarushi for Jerry Gray. Gray to Carmen Marcantonio. Marcantonio, good ball on the right side for Bruce Miller. Miller brings it back into the middle. Miller looking for Jerry Gray perhaps to run onto that, but he didn't.
Just a little mix-up in communications there. He used Segura as a decoy, hoping that Gray would keep running and Gray would stop. But Canada have got to keep taking the game, I feel, to the United States. If they get one more goal, the game's over. If they keep lying back, and as they did in the first game against Mexico, and let the opposition team come to them, they may well give up a goal, and if it gets to 2-1, then anything can happen. So they've got to keep playing the way they did in the first half.
Segoda. DiBernardo, Marcantonio. Wes McLeod in control for Canada. At midfield. For Bruce Miller. Miller couldn't get to it. Ricky Davis comes up with it. Davis playing the ball, hoping that DiBernardo could run onto it, and then Iarushi back to Lettieri.
That's the first time that DiBernardo has been in the box this afternoon. He's been playing a very defensive role in midfield, and he looks as if he's really struggling. And for Lauderdale, he was perhaps the best player, taking people on, winning situations, but today he doesn't look as if he wants to play.
Throw into the United States, Ricky Davis. Cantillo. Makowski with space in front of him. Tries to find Diego Pesa. DiBernardo. Americans in control. DiBernardo back into the middle. Makowski was there. Marcantonio just turns and fires downfield looking for Stoyanovich. Bandoff against Gray. Gray winning that battle. Bandoff couldn't stay on his feet. And then Gray losing it to Bandoff. Liverich now. Liverich turning Gray. Here's the cross. Iarushi wisely heading it away. Bandoff. Americans keep the pressure on. They trail 2-0. 35 minutes remaining to play in the second half.
Canada should take advantage of this to settle down. They've lost their poise a little bit. Get it back to Lettieri. Settle them down. Pick people up. Right now they're picking that ball back to midfield, and it's just coming straight back. They've got to start building it up again as they were in the first half.
Wes McLeod. McLeod for Bruce Miller. Miller has Mike Sweeney in support. Miller losing it. And then the play is blown down on the foul called against Bruce Miller. John McGrain battling there against Diego Pesa. Another foul.
And Pesa knows he's been in a game. If you play against McGrain, you certainly know you've been in a game. He doesn't take any prisoners.
McGrain. Ooh, dangerous play there by Trudeau. The cross into the middle. Antonio there. Yarushi. Chested forward by Bandov. Then Gray just clearing it out of harm's way. Keogh out on the right side for Ricky Davis. Davis working against Sweeney. So the score, Canada 2, the United States nothing. 34 minutes remaining to play. We'll be back with more soccer from Empire Stadium after this. Ringo Cantillo shaken up in front of the Canadian goalmouth. There was a little bit of action, resulting in a corner kick for the United States. DiBernardo to take it, going for the far post, wide and high, and Mike Sweeney there to knock it away. Stoyanovich battling against Trudeau.
That has to be a foul for Canada, definitely. Gray unceremoniously pushed off the ball there, and he's lying hot now.
What a strong game Jerry Gray has had for Canada this afternoon.
Well, there's certainly no quarter given or taken in this game. They all go for the ball, but definitely a push against Gray, and Gray's lying hot now. He may have twisted his ankle a little bit.
Attendance at this afternoon's game, 13,598. I know the Canadian Soccer Association and the national team were perhaps hoping for a few more, but they've been a very vocal crowd, and that's exactly what Canada wanted. Free kick, Mike Sweeney to take it. Sweeney, who plays for Graham's club in the North American Soccer League, the Edmonton Drillers. Segoda running into Liverage. Bandov coming forward for the U.S. Losing it. Ricky Davis. Davis trying to get it to Diego Peza, but he couldn't control it. Now Bruce Miller, recipient of a long pass down the left side. Miller trying to turn the defender around. Back to Wes McLeod. McLeod back to Sweeney. Sweeney all the way back now to Yarushi. Stalling tactics perhaps on the part of the Canadians. 31 minutes to play. Canada leads 2-0 on goals in the first half by Yarushi and Branko Segoda on a penalty kick. Makowski. DiBernardo. McGrain. Ball into touch, throw into the Americans. Ricky Davis. And watch for the long throw here. Davis can throw long. Headed away. Bruce Miller comes up with it for Canada. Back into the middle for Mike Stoyanovich. Stoyanovich can't get round Petcher. Steady as a rock for the Americans on defense. Ringo Cantillo. Hoping that DiBernardo can run onto that. Yarushi gets there before him. Wes McLeod. McLeod beats one man, still has it. And this is what you wanted to see the Canadians do last week, Graham, was to hang on to the ball, not necessarily just kick it away.
No, it's too early to start wasting time, and if they just kick it up, there's too many red shirts back there to bring it back again. Keep control, settle down, get people in position, then go forward as a unit.
Bob Lenarduzzi. Jerry Gray losing that battle in the air. 6'1" for a standoff. Yarushi, guilty of what we were talking about just a few moments ago. Instead of hanging on the ball.
And Canada have not had one shot on goal, and the longer they lay back, the more chance Americans have got of scoring. As Fetcher takes the throw in from the wrong line, then the referee's given it to Canada. He's quite right. They're told you played at the red lines, and he took it from the football line, so it's Canada's throwing.
Many lines here on Empire Stadium, for good reason. We've got the Western Canadian Junior Football Final here tonight. Vancouver Marilomas against the Regina Rams, and of course tomorrow, the big game for the BC Lions, what could be their final game of the season, against Dieter Brock and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. That's tomorrow afternoon, so Empire Stadium, a very busy spot over the next 12 hours. McGrain. Keogh. Sweeney for Canada. Tampa Bay Rowdies, Wes McLeod for Segota. Davis, handoff. Back to Cantillo. Cantillo for Tony Crudo. Crudo. Good pass down the right side for Greg Mikowski, overlapping fullback. Loses it to Bruce Miller. Miller for Marcantonio. Marcantonio then losing it. Americans still in control just outside the 18-yard box of Canada. There's the shot, and right into the arms of Tino Lettieri. But a good shot, nonetheless, from Mark Lippert. Cantillo for Bandoff. Bandoff being watched by Jerry Gray. Going into the corner. Back out to Liverich. Liverich watched by Lenarduzzi. Cantillo, dangerous ball. McGrain there to head it away.
The United States keeping up this pressure. Canada have lost the Reds definitely. They're sitting on a 2-goal lead, but 2 goals can disappear very quickly.
Marcantonio, who came on in substitution for Gino Strenicher. He's played an outstanding game for Canada at midfield. Under a lot of pressure because Strenicher plays such a big role. And now the fans pick up the chant, "Go Canada, go." This is what the Canadian team wanted. Lots of vocal support. Ringo Cantillo working against Lenarduzzi for Liverich. It was Marcantonio intercepting the pass, and then off the forehead and face of the American defender, who went down like a ton of bricks. Steve Fetcher, by the looks of things, he took that right in the face.
Carmen Marcantonio did well to intercept this ball. He tries to hit a long ball into the box. Fetcher gets his face in the way, and on a cold day like this, that's really hard. But he's a strong kid. He's back in the game again.
The U.S. captain, Steve Fetcher, veteran of over 20 appearances for the United States. There's the shot. Stoyanovich flips it on. Miller was there, but he couldn't get to it. And the Americans clear into touch, so it'll be a throw into Canada. Looks as though we may be getting an American substitution. That's Greg Villa. He'll be wearing number 17 if he comes onto the pitch for the Americans. Greg Villa, Fort Lauderdale Strikers in the NASL. I would expect to see Walt Sigerwitz perhaps make a few substitutions. Now this is Stoyanovich trying to control for Canada. Carmen Marcantonio does to Wes McLeod. And it's knocked away by Crudo. And play is blown down. Segota being called for the foul against Crudo. Steve Bernardo. Makowski. Cantillo. Steve Bernardo. Liverich. Good ball through the middle. Can't quite get turned around. Chip back into the box. Headed down. And then Wes McLeod tried to clear it. Kept in by the Americans. Liverich chesting it down. Then knocks it forward. And Lettieri comes off the line to take it on the one hop.
Well, you got to give full credit to this American team. They're not lying down. They're taking the game to Canada just as Canada took it to them in the first half. And I really feel, listening to John McMahon at half-time, that Canada would have been better to play the game they played then, because they've lain back now, and this is very dangerous.
24 minutes and 44 seconds remaining to play in the second half. Canada leads 2-0. Ricky Davis keeping the ball inside the Canadian zone. Working down the left side now, has Liverich on the left. Liverich takes the pass. There's the cross, but it's too deep. Crosses the end line, and that'll be a goal kick for Canada. And there we see Greg Villa coming on as a substitute for the United States, with Canada leading the United States 2-0. Walt Sigerwitz deciding to make a substitution. This will have to be done formally, of course. The substitute has to go in at a certain place. Once the referee sees the substitution card being held up on the side, which he has, so the substitution should be coming momentarily. Sweeney. Sweeney. Stoyanovich, the target man up front, and Stoyanovich was bothered by Steve Petcher from behind. So with 23 minutes remaining to play in the game, Canada leading the United States 2-0 here at Empire Stadium. We'll be back with more soccer action right now. But couldn't get the ball to him. Now Segota does. Segota losing it to Steve Petcher.
Jerry Gray having a tough afternoon. He's been kicked over, but he's an aggressive little player. He keeps coming back for more.
Wes McLeod in for Gray. Gray back to John McGrain. McGrain plays it to Hierouchi. Hierouchi back to Tino Lettieri.
And the United States have brought on big striker number 17, Greg Villa, in place of Pesa. So they're obviously trying to get some goals. Big 6'2" striker from Fort Lauderdale.
Hierouchi being watched there by Villa. Bernardo missing that one. And Stoyanovich watched it go over his head into touch. Throw into the Americans. Petcher quickly back to Mauser. Time now, the biggest enemy of the United States as they trail by 2 goals. Off the side of Mauser's foot. That'll happen when the ball's wet, slick. The rain has held off here this afternoon, just sprinkling. Rained heavily last night, so the artificial turf is very slick. They did their best to take as much moisture off as they could before the game, but it's still very damp. Villa plucking it forward for Mikowski. Mikowski losing it to Bruce Miller. Corner kick to the United States. Ricky Davis running over to take it. Let's see where they put Villa. Put him just outside the 6-yard box, right in the middle. Di Bernardo. Segota. Miller. Trudeau has it for the United States. They control. Vandoff. Vandoff chips it back into the middle. Wes McLeod gets ahead on it. Di Bernardo comes up with it. Shot from well outside. And it crosses the end line. That'll be a goal kick for Canada. Walt Chisowich and his assistant Bob Gansler on the American bench. Chisowich showing the concern of having his team down by 2 goals with only 20 minutes and 25 seconds to play. Wes McLeod. Stoyanovich. Segota. Vandoff. Working against Jerry Gray, who will win the battle. Gray does. Gray coming forward inside the American zone and then losing it to Ty Keogh.
Well, Canada have to take advantage of this opportunity. They've got the ball in the American half. Now let's keep it there.
Bruce Miller. Carmen Marcantonio. Marcantonio looking for the target man, Mike Stoyanovich. Too long. Goal kick for the Americans.
And that wasn't a bad ball by Marcantonio. Unfortunately, Stoyanovich was coming back for it and was caught turning and just couldn't run onto it. But had he been running the right way, it was a great ball by Marcantonio.
Just less than 20 minutes to play now. That's unofficially to remind you that the referee in soccer is the official timekeeper, and he will undoubtedly add a little bit of injury time to his time. Stoyanovich was there, but the ball wasn't. Trudeau for the Americans. Ricky Davis. Davis working against Sweeney. Sweeney. Liberate Di Bernardo. Di Bernardo against Wes McLeod. Wes appealing for a foul. None was given. Back into the middle. Bob Lenaduce. Franco Segota. Segota, good ball for Stoyanovich was well outside. Perhaps playing the North American offside rule. He was about 5 yards to the right side of the 35-yard line. But we are playing FIFA rules, and there's no 35-yard offside line here. Long ball too far, rolling off the end line. That'll be a Canadian goal kick.
And another opportunity for the Canadians to settle down. They've let this game get out of hand a little. They've still got a 2-goal cushion, but let's settle down. Just play the way we know we can play it.
Canada's next game in the series, their final game in the series, of course, will be in Mexico, Azteca Stadium in Mexico City on November the 16th, and we will have coverage of that game for you. Segota working against Trudeau. And Trudeau couldn't keep it in play, so it'll be a throw-in for Canada inside the American half. Ray to Segota. Wes McLeod coming back in support. And then John McGrain back to Tino Lettieri. If the Americans were to lose this game this afternoon, it's certainly not over for them. If they were to come up with a tie and a win over Mexico, of course, they'd be right back in it. And they do indeed have the 2 games against Mexico remaining. Wes McLeod. And Ringo Cantillo comes up with it for the U.S.
Wes McLeod playing in midfield today like we know that Wes McLeod can play. 16:47, 46:45. The seconds are ticking away, but the United States still coming forward.
This is Villa against Sweeney, and he gets the shot away, but I think that was wishful thinking on his part. He had no control over the ball, and it crosses the line. Should be a throw into Canada. Lenarduzzi there. Throw back to Lettieri, and then a high throw for Jerry Gray. Gray working against 2 red shirts. Oh, dangerous situation here. McGrain for Ricky Davis right on top of Tino Lettieri, and he says to Tino, "I didn't mean it, old boy."
Well, I think if Davis had got possession of that ball, it's a good through ball, and a little sloppy play again. McGrain should have pushed it a little firmer. Had Davis got that ball, I'm sure the referee would have blown a foul, but Lettieri got it back, so he played on.
Steve Bernardo being watched by Wes McLeod. McLeod wins it. Stoyanovich has Segota open. And then Jerry Gray is just shouldered off the ball by Bandoff, who is so strong. Wes McLeod wins that battle. Comes away with it for Canada. Wes McLeod still coming forward. Has a little bit of room on the left side. Has some open space. Has some white shirts in the middle. Ringo Cantillo for the nice tackle.
Howie doesn't give a foul there. Wes McLeod was fouled about 5 times. And Cantillo smiling, saying, "I got away with it," and he certainly did. But it's a throw into the United States.
Canada still maintaining a 2-0 lead. 14 minutes and 55 seconds remaining to play. This is Franco Segota. Segota with a shot. Oh, and Mauser has to knock it over the crossbar. Knocks it high and then turns and knocks it over the crossbar. What a bullet slide from Segota.
That shows the strength of Segota. He really has a terrific right shot, and good goalkeeping by Mauser. He didn't take any chances. He put it over the crossbar with Gray coming in, but if Segota had his head up, he could have seen that Gray was clear on the right with a walk-in on goal.
Corner kick now for Canada. Jerry Gray to take it. Going for the far post. Mauser coming well off the line to pick that one off. Villa. Watched by McGrain. Villa working down the left side. Chips it into the middle. Kowski, Iarushi, perhaps a little panic-stricken there, just knocking the ball into touch. Watch for the long throw again. Ricky Davis to take it. Villa, watch the flick on. Let's see if he does.
Foot on the field. It's a throw into Canada because you must stay behind that line, and Davis had 1 foot on the field. And give full credit to referee Mendes. He's right on touch with the ball. Whatever the ball is, he's there. He's having an excellent game.
That's a set play by the Americans. They like that long throw in from Ricky Davis, and then the first man to take it will flick it on with his head, hopefully to another player who's running onto it, and he can get a foot onto it. Mike Sweeney. And there's the man who has done an excellent job this afternoon, Molina Mendez from Guatemala. Another substitution for the Americans coming in is number 14, Steve Moyers, and he has replaced number 11, Mark Liverich. There's Moyers. Ringo Cantillo for Ricky Davis. Davis turns, working down the right side. Sweeney challenging and wins the challenge, knocks the ball into touch.
And wins the throw-in as well. It came off Davis's foot, and it's a throw-in for Canada. Sweeney picking him up, saying, you know, you may get away with it with the New York Cosmos, but I played for the Edmonton Drillers.
And they played tough in Edmonton. Robert Iarrushi for Carmen Marcantonio. Marcantonio tries to find Bruce Miller on the left side, intercepted by DiBernardo. DiBernardo coming forward, still has it. Working against Iarrushi, but he can't get by Lenarduzzi. Lenarduzzi, long ball looking for Stojanovic. Pressure, a bit of a gamble going after the ball. Kept in by the American. DiBernardo. DiBernardo with a shot from well out in his high.
And it's a free kick for America, I would think. Oh, no, he's giving it to Canada. Well, that's a bit of luck. For once, referee Mendez caught up field with that clearance from Fetcher and couldn't get up. I thought he'd given a free kick for one side, then the other, then he's given a goal kick. So, Iarrushi to take.
11 minutes and 42 seconds remaining to play. Unofficially, Canada maintaining a 2-0 lead. Franco Segota working down the right side. And it's blown down, and free kick will be awarded to the Americans. Bowser. If there was a hurry-up game plan for the United States, this would be the time to put it into effect. Iarrushi. And he just knocks it into touch. Still a few more seconds on the clock. Ricky Davis. Davis held onto it perhaps too long. DiBernardo chips it forward, looking for somebody's head. McGrain is there. Segota. Segota for Jerry Gray. And Gray just knocks it forward, killing some more time on the clock. Canada will leave Vancouver this week and headquarter themselves in the southern United States. Play an exhibition game in Guatemala. Oh, there's a handball, I believe, but he hasn't called it. There's the shot. That is wide.
He has called it. He had to call it.
There he is, Ricky Davis. The Americans hope that he'll be the next superstar for the United States.
It may have been accidental, but he controlled it. Got a good shot and goal, but the referee gives handball. Had the advantage not gone to the United States, he may well have played on, but they got the advantage, and it's a free kick for Canada.
Getting back to the Canadian plans, once they leave Vancouver, they go to, I believe it's Miami, and then down to Guatemala to play an exhibition game prior to moving on to Mexico City for that all-important game against the Mexicans at Azteca Stadium on November 16th. Now, 9 minutes and 42 seconds remaining to play in the game. Canada continuing to maintain that 2-0 lead. This is Segota for Lenarduzzi. Lenarduzzi chips it through the middle. Stojanovic flicks it on, looking for Segota. Wes McLeod against DiBernardo. Carmen Marcantonio. Bruce Miller. He can't control it. Knocked into touch.
Canada content to just take the time. They're in the American zone. Just keep it there.
Marcantonio for Miller. Miller couldn't work the ball to his advantage, and it'll be a throw into the Americans.
Both teams looking just a little tired now. The pace of this game has been kept up for, I would say, the 82 minutes, and they're beginning to feel it now, and it's to Canada's advantage, provided they don't slacken off. They've got to keep going.
And, of course, this is when your degree of fitness will really show in the dying moments of any contest, and especially in soccer that's played at such a ferocious pace. You go solid for 90 minutes almost. Ricky Davis. Throw in DiBernardo. Ringo Cantillo. Back to Davis. Ray cleats up there. Yarushi is kicking it into touch. 8 minutes and 12 seconds to play. Referee Mendez awarding a free kick to the United States just inside the Canadian half. There you see the score. Yarushi missing that one. And then it's flown down. He's awarded a free kick to the Americans, and it'll come from just outside the Canadian 18-yard box.
And this is a situation where you just cannot make a mistake. So all the white shirts are back. The wall has to stay firm. The goal now would be just critical.
3 U.S. players around it. Cantillo, Bandoff, and Ricky Davis. It'll be interesting to see who they elect to take it. Watch for the dummy run. Bandoff sets it up. There's the shot. It's high.
And they can shoot like that all day. Still, Leffiere is there. It's wasted time. It's gone right back in the end zone. It'll take another 10, 15 seconds.
Tino Leffiere well out of the box. Being watched there by Villa. A little bit of a cat and mouse game. Miller for Dakota, for Stoyanovich, and Petcher got a foot on it. It'll be a throw in to Canada. Deep inside the American half, Jerry Gray over there to take it. It'd be hard to pick an outstanding player of the game for Canada, Graham.
Well, this has been a team performance for both sides. Although the States are losing 2-0, it's been an excellent game throughout. And as you say, to pick an individual would be virtually impossible.
That time is unofficial.
Handball against Gordon.
And while it's unofficial, referee Mendez, I don't think we'll add too much time to that for injury time. There hasn't been a lot of it. Antonio winning the battle against Cantillo. Plays it forward for Jerry Gray. Gray with lots of space in front of him down the right side. Gray chips it in front, looking for Stoyanovich, and Mauser, all 6'2" of him, there to take it out of the air. Crudo for Ricky Davis. Back to Crudo. Crudo looking for the head of Villa. Yarushi intercepting it. And then Marcantonio does a dive on the right side.
You got to give credit to Mark Antonio. He's filled in very well for Junior Strenicher, who was injured in the first half.
13,000 on hand at Empire Stadium this afternoon. Enjoying every moment of this one. Canada in front, 2-0. Ricky Davis against Mike Sweeney. Bandoff. Bandoff through the middle. Dia tries to turn and get the shot away. Chisowich shaking his head, wondering what his side has to do to put one behind the Canadian goalkeeper, Tino Leffiere. Of course, last week in Fort Lauderdale is the scoreless tie, and the Americans have yet to score a goal in this opening round of World Cup qualifying. Bob Lenarduzzi with lots of speed gets by Bandoff. Tries to get by another 5, Ty Keogh, and had to go into touch. 4 minutes and 32 seconds remaining to play. Mauser. And Cantillo working against Jerry Gray on the left side. Both appealing for a throw-in. Next game for the United States will be November 9th in Mexico City against the Mexicans. Always tough down there, especially at that elevation. This is Crudo. Forward, McGrain there to knock it back into touch. Another throw-in for the Americans, getting ever closer to that Canadian goal. Ricky Davis again. Watch for the long throw-in via the top of the 6-yard box. Davis decides to go back and try again. Watch for the flick on. Here's the throw-in, and Yarushi is there. Lenarduzzi turns, and I think it went off an American forward, so that'll be a throw into Canada. 3 minutes and 26 seconds to play. Barry Clark doesn't look terribly happy. I can't believe it.
No, I don't think he's too pleased with the way that Canada's laid back in the second half. I can't understand why they completely changed the game plan, because they were dominating the States for the first 45 minutes, and in turn have been dominated for the second 45 minutes.
Good ball from Segota for Bruce Miller. Miller has Stojanovic in the middle, keeps it himself, heels it for Wes McLeod. Wes McLeod with the cross to the far post, and Mauser was there. Antonio. Iarushi battling against Steve Moyers. Iarushi winning that one. Jerry Gray. Gray. Wes McLeod. Bruce Miller. Miller beats one man. Back to Wes McLeod. Mark Antonio. Sweeney. Being grabbed there by Ricky Davis. No call. No indication from the referee. McLeod. Not in a hurry to get rid of it. Sweeney. Nice ball. McGrain. And then McGrain back to net the area.
And that's what I spoke about in Fort Lauderdale about wasting time. Keep possession. Make them run around. Excellent play by the Canadian defenders.
That used up about 40 seconds. We now have a minute and 57 seconds to play. Plus a little bit of injury time, I would suspect. There's a chance for Lenarduzzi. Lenarduzzi with a shot. And it's cleared off the line by the American defender. Wes McLeod bends on the shot. Segota has it. Canada keeping the pressure on. And then it goes into touch, so it'll be a throw into Canada, I believe, or has he awarded to the Americans? Throw into Canada. Nope.
Well, this was a great chance for Stojanovic. He just didn't quite get the right angle, but the ball comes out again, and Wes McLeod failed to see the spin on the ball and just completely mishit it. But still, you know, Canada are keeping it there, and they're wasting time, and there's only a minute to go, so they look pretty good right now.
This is Villa for Ricky Davis. Davis being watched by Sweeney. Tries to turn Sweeney around. Tries to get the cross away, and it goes off Sweeney. So it'll be a corner kick for the Americans with now less than a minute remaining to play in the game. That's unofficial, of course. There should be some extra time added for the injury. Davis into the middle. Oh, what a goal! Yes! The Americans have scored off the corner kick.
And big Greg Villa, who was brought in just for his heading ability, took advantage of a defensive lap and just piled it past Lathierry. Canadian defender standing still here as Davis takes a free kick. It should never get that far. A great header, no challenge, and a guy is good in the air as Vias. You don't give him that amount of time. You've got to cover him and make it awkward for him.
Well, this makes it interesting. 10 seconds on the scoreboard clock. McGrain back for Tino Lettieri, but I can assure you that referee Mendez will add some extra time to this contest. I'm quite sure of that, because the scoreboard clock is now run out. So we are in extra time. Referee looking at his watch. That's it. He signals the game is over. Canada has done what they had to do. They have picked up the all-important 2 points by defeating the United States. There you see Iarushi, McGrain, Tino Lettieri hugging each other. What a beautiful moment for Canadian soccer.
A very happy Canadian team, and justifiably so. They just killed the Americans in the first half. They laid back a bit in the second half, but a very well-earned victory. And now they can go down to Mexico and relax a bit, knowing that the United States have got to take 3 points from Mexico to at least tie Canada.
Canadian fans loving every minute of this victory for Canada here this afternoon. Wes McLeod, who played such a strong game for Canada, shaking hands with the American captain, Steve Petcher. Bruce Miller, who played so well up front, receiving congratulations from a member of the Canadian team. The final score here at Empire Stadium this afternoon, giving Canada that all-important 2 points in the standing. Well, let's go down to field level and J. Paul McCobb. JP?
And the obviously very happy coach of Canada's national soccer.
The American team had chances to score, and if it's